What is up, internet world? It's your boy Jermaine back with another video. So this video, what I want to talk about is the KBO bike behind me here. And guys, can you guys believe in what, a little under 2 months, I've already put 1,000 miles on the bike? And there's probably a lot of questions that come up, like, you know, after up to 1,000 miles, like how many times do you replace the brakes? How many times do you replace the tires? How many flats have you had? So I thought I would, make a sit-down video and answer these questions, because these are, probably a lot of questions that people would love to know, especially if you're looking to buy a bike. And different bikes like act different, they function different. And yeah, let's just jump right into this video. So first off, I will point out that out of all my bikes that I have, this bike here is definitely my favorite. It's definitely my favorite, and the reason why it is my favorite, it's my favorite just because of the tires. They're just smaller tires. You can just jump on the bike and like ride it just like a normal bike. And I've had a lot of fat tire bikes in the past, and the thing with fat tire bikes, you can pedal on a fat tire bike, but it's not the same as pedaling on like a normal size like tire, like that you're used to, riding on. Like, when I was a kid, I rode a bike like this, tires like this. Never rode fat tires, so I was never accustomed to fat tires, and I think most people are not accustomed to fat tire bikes. So whenever it comes to cycling and just riding, it's just really easy to just get on and just crank. Sometimes when I'm at a light, I can just sit there and I can use the throttle, right? But sometimes if I want to go faster, if I want to clear the intersection even faster, I can just pedal, and holy moly, like I feel a massive difference in just clearing the intersection, because I'm actually pedaling. And then yeah, I feel the electricity, but I'm also giving a lot of push and a lot of bang. Another thing that's really awesome about this bike, it's very, very light for the most part, but yeah, it's about 65 pounds, and I added another 6 pounds because this lock weighs about 6 pounds. This is the Kryptonite. I'll put a link to the description of the bike if you guys want to buy KBO, and I also put a link to the lock in the description too. This is a really, really good lock. If you are a delivery carrier in the city, I definitely recommend you get they call these the forget about it. They're really, really thick in diameter. I mean, it can still be cut, but most boat cutters just can't open this wide to cut these. So I really recommend these locks. They're about $130. They're kind of expensive versus the $20 lock, the $30 lock. But the $20 lock and the $30 lock, they're really easy to cut. So highly recommend you get one of these. Also, if you get one of these New York forget about it locks, it'll fit. And if you get the KBO, it'll fit like right on the back like this, and it's just a very easy, convenient place to have the bike lock. So when you're on the bike, you have a place to put it, because if I didn't have this rack, I really don't know where else I would put this lock. Like where else would I put it? So the rack works really, really cool. Another thing I like about the bike, the fenders are just very, very handy. This is something that I think should almost be standard if you're selling a bike to people that live in the city, because when you cycle in the city, you always do things like you run through puddles of water. There's rainy days, maybe you go through a dirty construction site and you don't want the mud to fly up and get on your backpack or get on the back of you. Now you got the fender to protect you, so the fender will take care of all that, and then you have to wash it off. So the fender is really, really nice. What about the range, the overall range of the bike? What do I think about the overall range? Now, for the most part, the overall range of the bike it varies anywhere from about 20-mile range to 30-mile range. Now, on bikes in the past, I usually don't pedal at all. On this bike, I don't pedal all the time, but I want to say I pedal like about 50% of the time now. Like I pedal quite a bit, like on this bike. Sometimes I will just cruise on it, but usually I can get anywhere from 30 to 20 to 30 mile range. Now you may wonder, like, why is it? What do you mean? That's like a 10-mile difference. Like, that's not something I could really go by. That's a massive difference. Well, The reason why it's such a massive difference is because if it's a very, very windy day and I'm going up really, really big hills, it's gonna really cut down the battery like greatly. Like it's gonna cut down the battery like so much. And then if it's a day that it's not windy and I am like on flat surfaces, it's gonna stretch out like a whole lot more. Maybe I can go like 31 miles or something, like on one charge, and that's majority using throttle and maybe a little bit of pedaling. So that's another positive. Other things to the bike. I thought I would talk about a few customations I made on the bike, because you guys know I don't like to make customations on any bikes. Whenever they come from the factory, I like to leave them the way that they are. But however, I did make two very small customizations, and I will put a link to Amazon in the description below for both of them. These are two customizations I totally recommend if you have a bike and you are like biking in the city. First customization I did was add wheel seat locks here, right? And then the second customization I did was to add wheel locks here. These are two things I just highly recommend, because when you get the bike just straight from KBO, the bike comes with these quick release wheels on the front wheel, and also a quick release on the seat. And if you're out in the city and you lock your bike up, someone could easily like walk by and like pop your seat off, or someone could easily walk by and like take a wheel. So you want to make it make it safe when you're out in the city. Also, also a lot of these wheel locks, they have special keys. So the one that you buy off Amazon, you have to keep that particular nut key thing, because it's yeah, you can find another one, but they're kind of tricky to find, and it makes it more difficult for someone to just walk by and like use a random wrench from their backpack. So that's just something else to throw out there. Brakes on the bike. For the most part, I go through brakes like crazy. Like I say, I ride fast. I stop hard all the time. I go through brakes like crazy. And we also have a lot of hills in the city. When you're coming down some of these big hills, if you are trying to go like really slow down a hill, you're just gonna use a lot more brake versus if you're just trying to bomb a hill. If you're trying to like bomb hills, you're gonna save your brakes a lot. But majority of the time, I try to take hills pretty slow, just because I don't want to crash and stuff like that. And a lot of our roads here in San Francisco are really like rough, and I would much rather take it slow. So I definitely go through way more brakes. Maybe I replace the brakes maybe like twice a month, or maybe every 3 weeks. I also ride quite a bit. So on a normal day, I'll ride anywhere from 30 to 50 miles on average, and that's a lot of riding. So yeah, that would make sense why I change my brakes so frequently. And yeah, for the most part, the bike it's held up really, really good. The seat is really, really comfortable. That's something that people ask about a lot. Oh, how is the seat? How's the seat? The seat's really comfortable. The handlebars are really cool. The battery has this little USB port. Another thing to say about the battery, so there's another bike that I have. I'm not gonna name it. It's very notorious for having the keys like the same, right? So it's very easy for someone to steal your battery off your bike. Okay. So with the KBO, what they did was the key that you have, it doesn't go to the battery, it actually goes to the bike, right? So the keys are all different. You actually see the number on your key, and the keys are all different, right? And there's no more of the lock is in the battery. The lock is actually on the physical bike, and that makes it like way more secure. Now I'm pretty sure someone could still maybe like hack it or whatever. Not hack it, but like jimmy it or whatever, as they would call it. But it would be much, much easier to steal a battery with the lock on the battery. you know, because that's just a more easier way. So the batteries are a little bit safer. I mean, if you are leaving your bike out on the street, like you're doing, you know, deliveries in the city, you might want to like think of, you know, adding some extra protection, you know, for the lock. If anyone is actually watching this video from KBO, if there's any way you guys could sort of, you know, maybe find a lock where like you could wrap around this part of the bike, right? You know, to give extra security for the battery, that's something that you could sell, and people in the city would buy it like crazy, because battery theft is a big thing, and there's a lot of carriers in the city that they don't want to lock their battery to their bike because they like to switch the battery. And you know, we haven't heard of a company that make like locks for batteries. Like a lot of companies just make locks for the bike, but they don't necessarily make a lock for the battery. So like if they can make some sort of lock that could go around like here, you know, that would be really, really awesome. Or if someone is watching this video and you know, if you know how to make metal and stuff like that, you know how to make a lock like that, I think that would be a really awesome product to make right now, because you know, more and more people are riding e-bikes, and you know, battery is like one of the most expensive parts of the e-bike. So you know, you definitely want to protect it like even more if you're the type of person that you're out quite a bit. But anyway, guys, I thought I would sit down and make a video talking about the KBO. It's an awesome bike, I love it, and yeah, I'm actually gonna go riding on it right now. So anyway, I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks all for watching. Peace out, yo.